Greetings and salutations, friends. My name is, of course, Charles Q. Banks, and I'd like to welcome you to the first episode of a new show that I've come up with entitled Charles Anime Episode Summary and Review, or Caesar for short. I thought that was pretty clever. It's a show dedicated to reviewing anime series new and old, episode by episode. Yes, it is an episodic show, something that you guys have been suggesting to me for a long time, and it'll allow me to get more videos out there more quickly, as well as allow me to engage with seasonal anime that are currently airing. And of course, I'll be starting with a popular anime, One Punch Man Season 2. And I've already done a single episode of One Punch Man Season 2, and I'll link that in the description below, but I did it in my black and white series of videos in a simple discussion. But this time it's going to be a bit more focused on anime, and I want this series to be particularly anime-focused. So, this is going to be non-spoiler-free. This is not going to be spoiler-friendly. I want to be able to talk in detail about the specific facts and facets of the episode that I've just watched, because I will have watched the episode directly before reviewing it here. And I did so, and so I'll give you my general impressions right off the bat, first off, for episode 2 of One Punch Man Season 2. And I think I definitely preferred this episode to episode 1, because when you see the difference between One Punch Man Season 1 and One Punch Man Season 2 in the first episode, it's hard to notice anything else. The animation is so different and of such a lower quality that everything else is kind of lost in translation. It's just a huge punch in the face, so to speak, of changing in animation quality and changing in studio. You can definitely see a difference in direction, even if the comedy, the original comedy from the webcomic and from the mangas, do actually shine through. I think, like I said in the other video, I would rather read the manga of Season 2 than watch the anime, because the manga's art is going to be much better, honestly. And that just goes to show you that the animation has taken such a dip in quality. And it's continuing to be dippy. That's one way of saying it. Not high quality in episode 2. But now that I've acclimated a little bit to episode 1 and what the animation style is going to be like, I can actually appreciate what's going on in the episodes, not just totally distracted by the animation. But the animation is still incredibly distracting, and distractingly boring is the problem. It's not just that the action scenes are done slightly worse or with techniques that aren't as interesting. It's that dialogue scenes are even done worse. There are cost-cutting measures employed out the wazoo in every minute of this show. And for example, I just want to talk about the opening scene of episode 2. Now we're getting more into the details. The beginning scene starts off right where episode 1 left, which is where the Hero Association is trying to bargain with the ruffians, the villains in the underworld of the world, trying to get them to help them stop a new wave of monsters and a prophecy which is that which has been prophesied, which is that a new monster is going to come forth that threatens the Hero Association and life itself, you know. And so, a very archetypal, prophetic crap going on. And in this meeting, the villain of the show, there's actually a villain here, and there's actually some build-up towards perhaps a climactic battle, who knows. But Garo is set up as this monster who is sympathetic to the monsters, and who is threatening the Hero Association right on, you know. And he basically kills everyone in that scene. He kills all of the heroes and the villains who were being trying to be allies with one another, except for the chairman, who escapes with his life. And so that seems really dramatic, really kind of exciting, action-packed, you would think. But no, it was boring and strangely shot. I would say that there were errors in shot composition all throughout this episode, and I think that's something that's wrong with this whole season, is going to be wrong with this whole season as well. Both in the first episode and in this episode, the shot composition has been quite questionable, and I want to give you an example, a visual example, just going to show you here that throughout the time that Garo, the bad guy, is speaking, he's very, kind of Vegeta-esque, someone straight out of Dragon Ball Z, V-shaped hair, V-shaped face, forked gray hairstyle, very menacing, I guess, kind of martial arts demon person. But he's talking, and he's being all ominous and evil and wicked and threatening everyone. But throughout the time that he's talking, like 2 or 3 times, I think it was 3 times, the scene, the shot changes to a picture of his pants as he's talking. I have that image right here. I'll just blow that up for you. I am going to commit an evil deed, and we're shown a picture of his pants. Just a shot, full shot, like 3 seconds, 2 or 3 seconds long. Each time that it cuts to him speaking, it cuts to his pants. And it's not like we haven't seen his face, so it's like there's a build-up for a dramatic reveal. We've already seen his face, but then it cuts to his pants as he's talking, and it's like, what am I looking at? Why am I looking at his pants? Does it have anything to do with the story? Is this trying to tell me something about Garo? No, it's just probably that they didn't have anything else animated to show you while the dialogue was going on. So that really gives you kind of a taste of the cost-cutting measures that this show employs, and this episode employs, especially in the dialogue-heavy parts. And even in the action scenes of this beginning section, are just pictures of someone having attacked, maybe with a short graphic of, like, action lines. And then the character is seen dodging away. But there's no actual animation going on, or at least very, very little. And that is true for the entire episode. Now, there were definitely some very impressive portions, at least visually. 90% of this show doesn't look good, is not well animated, I'll just say. The designs are, of course, all there. They're all great. But the animation in particular, the movement is not pleasant. Like I said, it's very stilted, very slow moving. The camera is always either static or slowly panning somewhere. Left, right, in, out, and it gives a sense of boredom. Like, I was bored throughout most of this episode, even though the storyline and the villains and the characters are all very engaging. I found my mind kind of wandering because the visuals just weren't grabbing me. My eyes were just going elsewhere, off into my room, waiting for the scene to end, which is not a good thing, right? But I will say there were some impressive parts towards the end, in which new characters, Hellfire, Blizzard, who is actually connected to another Psyker, Esper, the Tornado from Season 1, who is a crowd favorite. Short little girl with green curling hair who floats, is a Psyker, or an Esper, and her sister is the taller, less powerful, but still more ominous character of Blizzard. And she threatens Saitama, trying to get him to join her little group of heroes, her own faction, and threatens him with mutilation. But of course, he defeats her soundly, and she suddenly wants to join him, which I think is great. It's a great turning point in the show, and a great comedic bit. And then, of course, Sonic, Speedo Sound Sonic, shows up and is fighting Genos, and that's where all the impressive animation comes from. or at least the impressive visuals come from, is their fight, is the fight between Genos and Speed of Sound Sonic. And it's not necessarily, again, it's not the animation, it's the fact that the philosophy of the animation is changed. Not from, it's changed from Sakuga, because One Punch Man Season 1 was like a Sakuga generator. You know, any time that One Punch Man got into a fight, there was at least a few moments of really incredible animation and really fluid animation of the punch connecting, or someone dodging, or someone, you know, have an action scene. In every episode of One Punch Man, there was at least one scene with really good Sakuga and really good animation. In this, they've gone away from that, from fluid animation and experimentation in different styles of drawing and animation, and have put all of their cards in good-looking images. So all of the action scenes with impressive visuals are just really impressive stills of action happening, which is still impressive, but it's not as impressive. You're not going to come away with a feeling of being impressed or excitement from just seeing a still image. It's very, very good images. I'm not going to say that it's not. They're beautiful. They're beautifully done. But they do also employ strange digital effects. Like, instead of animating the character moving frame by frame, they use a digital effect, which is like as if a 3D model, the character were a 3D model, moving them on the page digitally. So you can see that it's not hand-drawn, it's that the hand-drawn character is being moved across the screen as if by a mouse. So it's perfectly fluid, but it's not, again, it's not done normally, naturally. It's not animated in the conventional way. They've really gone all in on the digital effects, which some people might actually like. I was okay with it, but it's still such a downgrade, and you can tell that it's not that they wanted to increase the visual quality by adding these digital effects. It's just that they wanted to cut the costs. So that's very disappointing and distracting, because the story is now so good, and that's what this season has over Season 1. Season 1, once you watched all of the episodes, you really enjoyed the characters, and you really enjoyed the action, but the story was going nowhere if you didn't already know what was going on in the manga or in the webcomic. You would think, like I did, that the show was basically done. The comedy is fulfilled. The joke, it's a one-trick pony, and that trick has been shown 12 times in 12 different episodes in One Punch Man Season 1. And so you couldn't really see how a story could be made out of this. But now, with all of the inclusion of these different characters and a central villain for One Punch Man to eventually fight, and perhaps even a team of superheroes who used to be rivals, growing up around Saitama, becoming his friends, like King and Sonic and Blizzard, all of these becoming his hero friendship team, fighting together against Garo eventually. That is something that we can look forward to, and I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in the story in the next episodes. But when the animation is so poor, it really kind of bores you. So I am excited for One Punch Man because of the story, but I would definitely recommend reading the manga over the anime, because at least the drawing in that will be consistent. So, yeah, the comedy's still there. The voice acting is still there. The shot composition, directing of the shots, it's all very bad. Strange choices being made, and the animation is still much poorer. But, it goes down to the mediocre level of anime, which you might see in a teen fiction, school romantic comedy, with a few flashy action scenes, which is a sad degradation. But it's something that, if you really are enjoying the story, you will not mind that much. So I'm excited to see the next episode. I'll probably get to it right away. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, farewell.